Hi everyone. So today I'm going to discuss the decline of Facebook and what it's going to mean to business and how different networks are forming around shared values and connections as opposed to and how that will impact, I think, hiring in the future and even now. So I was talking to a business owner on the weekend and she was telling me about how during all this COVID, stuff in 2021 with all the rules and the ring of steel and people being reported for all sorts of breaches, how she had one staff member who was particularly anal about rules and she was a bit concerned at how that was going to impact and perhaps sink her business. So she kind of, gently gave her the nudge, and how now this is much more on her mind to hire someone that is aligned with her values and who have shared connections. And I was thinking about how, this is also, I've heard this from many other people, that they're hiring within networks of friends and extended groups. So looking for people who have shared values and connections as opposed to just randoms on the street, or if you like to say randoms off seek. And maybe people could say, okay, this has happened for a long time, that's who you know, not what you know. But I think more so now, even for because of all the government overreach, you're going to find people want to find people they work with that they can trust, that they aren't just going to call a sickie because they feel like having a day off and know that they'll be fully protected because the government says, oh, you can say you've got COVID and have a week off. And people are prepared to be honest, who have integrity, and all those things I think are going to make a big difference to hiring. And so this network of women came together probably about just several years ago as a result of the no jab, no play. A lot of professional women in it, pretty much. And in order to actually be part of this group, I thought it was a little over the top at the start, but now I kind of see where they came from, was that you had to be personally vouched for by another member that you actually had to know in real life. And I think, wow, this is where it's actually come to, that we have a situation of trust in society and trusting who we work for, who we are friends with, who are close to, because we've suffered so much trauma these last few years, and betrayal, I think, that we don't really want to go through that again. So moving on to Facebook and how Facebook has been very central to how people have networked for the last maybe 10 years, maybe less than that. But, how people have found each other, found businesses, and, everyone's with their, find me on Facebook and so forth. Well, I actually think that if you're a business that depends on Facebook or an organisation, I think you really have to start looking at making up your own networks, making sure you have your email list, contact details of all your clients and connections, because Facebook's going down. They're losing a whole lot of money. They've decided that they're going to invest in this metaverse virtual reality thing, and they don't care how much money they will spend on that. So they've predicted a loss of $10 billion. They've lost that, and Mark has said he doesn't seem to care how much he loses. But it's not just that they're hemorrhaging billions of dollars in research and development into a concept that would potentially violate a lot of privacy laws and issues. It doesn't really work. I mean, do people really want to go into this virtual reality and be controlled? And I think the resounding answer will be no. That there's only so far people will take their lives virtually. But they're also hemorrhaging users. So at the end of the last quarter of 2021, they lost 500,000 users. And for the first up to July 2022, they lost 2 million users. So that's a fairly significant drop. And as you know, when people leave a platform, it's a trend line. And if you only really went on Facebook because everybody was there, and that was the whole appeal for it. It was appealing to a wide audience. And I know with certain groups that I was in, that they stopped using mailing lists and other means of contact because they thought, well, everyone's on Facebook anyway, so why don't we post the event or the group chat in there? And now that's not happening. There's a lot of different platforms that people are using for chats and for mass mail out of information, whether that's Signal or Threema or Telegram, WhatsApp. But again, you have to look at the company where you're putting all your data in. If that goes down, what happens to your data? What happens to your customers? Like if you can't reach them. So I think it's really bad to put all your eggs in one basket, to think that they're going to be around, and that even if you've been very successful on Facebook, you'd have to look really carefully now and thinking, how am I going to get that user base back to in my control, that data back in my control, so that you can reach your customers and advertise to them and not be paying continuously more and more for advertising. And as we know, Facebook are good at shadow banning people and controlling people if you're not aligned with their values or what they call their community standards. I've seen business owners who might have posted something that was actually not really all that controversial, not just locked out of their personal accounts, but actually locked out of their business accounts, meaning that, with say, for example, it was a fruit and vegetable business, that is actually quite critical to lose contact with your customers. So that's it for today. Just a quick hello from me. I'm going to try and do an analysis this week on the death data. So stay in touch. You can find me here or uncensoredwisdom.com. Sign up and stay in touch. And welcome to all my new friends and connections out there. Okay, and my old ones. Bye.